Hi everyone, this is Miss Jen from the Lawrence branch. Today we're going to learn how to make these beautiful feather bookmarks out of yarn. And this project came from a book we have in the library called 10-Minute Yarn Projects by Sarah L. Schette. So let's get started. All right, in terms of supplies, you're going to need yarn. Depending on what style you'd like, will depend on how much of each color. Like for this one, I used just the one multicolored skein. For this, I used 3 different colors. You're gonna need about 16 feet in total. You'll need one piece that goes down the middle. That's about 25 inches, and then 46 pieces that are about 6.5 inches long that make up the different sides. Once you watch the video, you'll see what I mean. It'll be about 16 feet total of yarn, whatever colors you choose. Then you'll need some beads. Depending on what thickness of yarn you use will determine how big of a bead you'll need. Just make sure the hole in the bead is big enough that you can fit your yarn through. I use 2, you can use as many as you'd like. You'll need scissors, and it helps to use some masking tape to tape down the yarn as you string along. Also, it was helpful for me to have a piece of thick paper, cardstock, cardboard, as a template to cut the yarn pieces. Not necessary, but optional. All right, now let's get to our project. We're gonna make a bookmark that looks something like this, or at least use those same colors. First, to get the long string that goes down the middle, you're gonna take your yarn and measure about the length of your arm. For me, that was about 25 inches, and cut. I have one pre-cut here. Then, to make the little side feather bits, you're gonna need pieces that are about as long as your hand. For me, that was 6.5 inches. Now you can just measure on your hand each time, or do one template and try to estimate down. I found it a little helpful to make a template. So I took a piece of cardstock, just folded it up to give it some stiffness, measured 6.5 inches, and that way I can quick wrap as many times as I need to cut. So that's an optional step, but it saved me some time. Now, if you're using multiple pieces of yarn, the way we're going to do, again, I found it helpful to diagram it out. So in this case, we're going to use 23 pairs of yarn. So one would go this way, one would go that way of each pair. We use 12 red, 3 yellow, and 8 red. So we'll need 20 pieces of red, and this had 20 pieces of white, and then 3 and 3, so 6 pieces of yellow. Look at our trusty template, and I'm going to wrap the string to get 20 pieces. So it'll be up for 1, down the back for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 20. So then snip. Carefully slide that. Put your scissors where the end of the paper was. Snip. Same on the other end. You have your 20 pieces of red. I'm going to do the same thing with your white. 20. And then we needed, 6 yellow? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once you have all your yarn cut, I found it helpful, again, to lay out exactly what the pattern I was going to do. So as I was threading through, I could easily tell where I was and what I was doing. So we're going to do 12 pairs, one red and one white. One, two, so. There's our 12 sets. Now I'll do 3 sets of yellow. And the last 8 sets of red and white. Now I'm all laid out here. You can do whatever colors you'd like and as many sets as you would like. On this one, I didn't do a red and a white. I did 2 red, 2 red, 2 red, 2 red, then 2 white, 2 white. I'm doing this set of colors, the 2 different ones, so that when we loop them on our long string, you can see how the 2 strings connect. But again, you can choose what colors and what your pattern is. All right, now let's move on to the stringing. Now you're going to need a piece of tape. Take your long string, the one that's the length of your arm, fold that in half, like so, and tape it down to the table. And leave a little space because that's where you'll put your beads. Now get your first pair of strings, the ones that will go as the top line. I'm using 2 colors again so that you can see how the strings loop around each other. So take your first string, fold that in half so it makes a loop. Slide that under the long string. Now take your second piece, fold that in half to make that loop. You want your ends pointing the opposite way. Take that loop, slide it under the first loop, over the middle, and then pull the little tail ends of the first loop through that loop. Then pull it taut and slide it up. We'll do it again with your second pair so that you can get an idea again. I'm going to flip the colors. So we got a cool pattern going. So again, take one piece, fold it in half to make a loop, slide that loop under your center, take your second piece of that set, fold it to make a loop, slide that loop under the first loop, over the middle, and pull the tail ends through. Pull both pairs of ends until it gets tight and slide it up. And you'll keep going with that all the way down until you have the right pattern that you want. Once you've finished, it should look something like this, depending on what colors you chose. But it would have 23 or 20, 25, again, whatever your pattern you want, sets of little strings in a nice pattern on your center string. Let's take that tape off. To be on the safe side, what I did was make a knot at the bottom so your strings didn't go sliding off. Like so. There we go. Now we can add our beads to the top. These are the 2 beads that I chose. See, they have that nice fat hole in the middle. So string them to the top of your bookmark. There we go. And again, I made a knot on mine so those beads didn't go slip sliding away. All right, we are almost done. Now you want to get your scissors and shape your feather. So cut almost like, I guess, a heart shape or a curvy triangle along the sides. It helps to lay it down on the table to do this. There we have it. So pretty. Here's another look at our finished product and some of the other samples I've done. Again, these are all from our book, 10-minute yarn projects that you can check out from the library. All right, well, happy crafting, and I'll see you another time.